And here we go, folks, right here on the Lost Temple. EGMachine in the pink trunks playing Zerg at the top of the map versus his opponent, DuckloadRa, in the red trunks to the east of the Lost Temple. Good little bit of positioning there for the Zerg. He can easily skate over there. Not that he really needs to do that just yet. There's one thing I will say about DuckloadRa, is that Machine probably knows what his build's going to be, but that's not to say that he couldn't vary it up. It's a possibility. Machine's now fallen twice to the same opening, although not to the same strategy. A mix-and-match style strategy that we saw with the Void Rays and the Colossi in that first game, and then that classic 5-gate. So quick pause, folks. It's important. Need to make sure that everything's A-OK. Let's get DuckloadRa set to busy. Okay, there we go. All sorted out. Like I say, you'd never assume malicious intent from these players at all. It's just something that you sometimes forget to do. Simple as that. No problem whatsoever. Okay. DuckloadRa built a pylon! How could you? Yeah. Color me shocked. Here we go. Oh, this match could be over incredibly quickly, or, I don't know, never underestimate the tenacity of Machine, folks. Never, ever do that. He is going to throw everything he has into this match. Gateway coming up. In his base, nothing fancy. Nice tried and true methods that have worked before against Machine. Can Machine adapt to it? Spawning pool on the way. This is pretty much identical to the previous game, so I have to ask Machine, well, what are you doing to vary it up? Because it didn't work last time. Overlord Scouts, what does he see? He's going to see that assimilator coming up. He's going to see the opening that DuckloadRa uses pretty much every game. Build the Zealot. Get the Cybernetics core up. Build the Stalker. Try and get a little bit of early aggression on if you can. Machine scouts it regardless, though. A little bit of fisticuffs going on right here. Ra's not having it. He blocks it again. Machine must be annoyed by that. And you wouldn't really blame him, would you? It's like, why must you do this every time? Evil, evil DuckloadRa. Merciless. DuckloadRa the merciless. DuckloadRa the wicked. We could go with that, I suppose. That works. 4 Zerglings. Extractor coming up. To be able to get his way through there, but once again, probably going to run into the same problem he did previously. Are we going to go straight into this 5-gateway strategy again? We don't know that just yet, but considering it works so freaking consistently, why wouldn't you? Is Machine going to vary things up right now to try and do something? He has to. No gas available for Machine just yet. There we go, into the hatchery, after the pylon block. Runs off with the minerals once again. You know, I call that insult to injury. Let's say the evil, devious plans of DuckloadRa. But EGMachine steals a gas, so there you go. That will actually restrict the 5-gateway build just a little bit. Not by much, but a little. Bear in mind, it's pretty heavy on the gas, considering spawning a lot of stalkers. But by the time that becomes a factor, shouldn't be too much of a problem. You never know, though. You never know. It might force DuckloadRa to vary things up a little bit. DuckloadRa showing the gateway to his opponent. The question is, what is EGMachine doing in response to that? Got the Spine Crawler coming up to prevent that early harassment, which by the looks of it probably won't come. DuckloadRa playing nice and safe. No big deal there, and he's be able to take down the Extractor without a problem. But is that gas steal a counter to the 5-gateway? It could be, potentially. Bear in mind, he's saying, oh, but he doesn't have 5 gateways up yet. That doesn't matter. Well, yeah, but he's not mining either. Therein lies the problem. He's not gathering the gas to allow him to really get that critical momentum going. So, yeah, it might help. It certainly very well might. Goes 2 gateways. Now into 3. Pumping out Stalkers. A Sentry coming up as well. And Sentry pretty costly considering he's stuck on 1 gas, whereas his opponent now has free reign over that expansion. If we have a look at the economy, it's pretty much equal in every possible respect. His opponent hasn't even bothered to grab 2nd gas yet. Ra's going to take that pretty quickly, I would think. Metabolic boost on the way, and the expansion there for DuckloadRa. Feels pretty confident that he can place that there without too many problems. He's got a couple of sentries there. He's got a Stalker. He has a Zealot. It's enough to keep the pests away. At least that's what he hopes, anyway. Not going for the 5 gateway, though. Like I say, that 5 gateway 1-base strategy doesn't think it can work again. He's probably correct. There's something a little bit more economically focused, and Machine working on his lair. What we have as well, Metabolic Boost is on its way. Can't really do an awful lot. Forge coming up to help defend against that. Question is, can Ra actually apply any pressure here? Possibly. 4 Zerglings available plus 2 Queens against 2 Stalker, 2 Zealot, and 3 Sentry. Oh, he could. He really, really could. And you know what? He wants to. He's going to go up there and he's going to give Machine a little bit of a tickle. Unfortunately, that's not going to work out so well for him because of those spine crawlers. EGMachine knows what's coming and he's able to deal with it. Are they enough spine crawlers? Well, it might be once the second one goes up, although I would be a little bit concerned. White Ra might snipe at them. He might give it a bash. Yeah, he looks to try and take that one. Can't do it, though. Especially not with a Queen up there. That's pretty dangerous, honestly, and there's not a lot you can do about that. Goes now into Robotics Facility. Be going straight through to Colossus. Wouldn't be too surprising. He's got 3 gateways plus an extra base. 4 gateways now. Now, his opponent with Roaches. You know, it's unfortunate that Machine never seems to be able to get off that tech. I mean, he was going for Broodlords at one point in that game, but he didn't manage it. Ra's actually really falling behind now in terms of economy, though, as a result of that late expansion. We've already got EGMachine plowing out the drones, doing a great job of that. He's 10 ahead of his opponent. Stargate on the way for Ra. And we've got an Observer on its way out as well. A lot of flexibility. Well, what we might be seeing is a simple trip around to what he did in the first place. You remember that first game? He just plowed out some Colossus. God damn it! One day I will get that right. Colossi, ladies and gentlemen. And he will back that up with some Void Rays. Might get a little bit of harassment in as well, though. You never know. It's a possibility. Here's his opponent playing very passively right now. Might be worth trying to take on that economy. He's already now going to the gold mineral spot. He already has the lead, so that would be even messier if that were to be allowed to happen. Machine now rolling out with the Roaches. He's got 7 Zerglings to back him up. He's also got himself 2 Queens. Ra, again, with a very minimal force. Researching upgrades, getting an Immortal out there. That'll be good for cracking the hard hides of those Roaches. Roaches look to pull in, but there's no way. There's no way he's got the numbers for that. Not against 5 Stalkers, 3 Sentry, 2 Zealot, and he knows it. Pulls back, mills around, sees what he can do. Void Ray on the way. It does look like a repeat of the strategy in the first game. It is a good counter strategy to what's coming up. Hydralisks already on their way, though. Of course, there are reasons for that against Stalkers, etc., but hey, there you go. That will prove perhaps to be costly for White Ra. The opponent has not scouted that. Robotic Spay on the way. I would say now, with almost certainty, it's the same strategy we saw in the first game. Mix in some Void Rays, get a little bit of additional firepower, keep your ground units pretty strong, and then mix it up with the Colossi. Force your opponent into Corruptors, spending an awful lot of minerals in order to do so, and then there you go. The Spire finally coming out. Will Machine finally get to play with some Mutalisks? Certainly a possibility if White Ra stays passive right now. Machine is rolling out the forces now. 13 Roaches, 10 Hydras, 6 Zerglings, and the Mutalisk Spire on the way. Robotic Spay coming in, spending an awful lot on tech. Do you really blame him? No, I wouldn't. Through to the Colossus. That'll give him a potent weapon, as you've seen against that. And, of course, the Roaches get torn apart by the Void Rays. He's got a second Void Ray on his way. Photon Cannon down there as well, just to guard the Xel'Naga Watchtower against any unforeseen predators. Wonder what the natural predator of a photon cannon is. Probably Roaches, I would think, wouldn't it? Or Broodlords. That works too. Natural food chain of the Zerg against photon defenses. Nexus in the gold expansion right here for White Ra. Holds back his forces, continues to play patiently. Colossus is on the way. And we've also got the extended thermal lance upgrade. Now looking perhaps for a push. Thinks he's going to meet some dangerous opponents if he continues to do that. Snipes up a couple of creep tumors, gives himself a little bit of movement advantage, and more to the point, takes away the movement advantage of his opponent. 2 Void Rays available, third one on the way. Now, this could end up being very unpleasant for Machine. I don't know if Machine really knows how to deal with this. He didn't deal with it well the first game. But then again, never underestimate the ability of a pro player to learn. He could pull something out of his hat here. And honestly, in terms of numbers, he is looking really strong right now. 17 Hydralisk, 17 Roach. He's up against 5 Stalker, 3 Sentry, 3 Void Ray, 1 Colossus, an Immortal, and 8 Zealots. It is a very mixed bag of units. Against a very focused bag of units there from Machine. Machine with no upgrades right now, but looking now for Flyer Attack upgrade. gets the Spire, doesn't bother with any Mutalisks at all, goes for Corruptors instead. Again, though, I'm worried. I'm very concerned that this could be a repeat of the first game. This is the identical way that Machine responded to this the first time. I wonder how much of this he actually knows. Is he aware of the presence of the Void Ray? Is he aware of the presence of the Colossus? Or has he just figured out a way to deal with that build better this time? That is a lot of units. That is 17 and 17 respectively, plus 7 Corruptors to back it up. Now 20 Roaches, looking for the critical mass to deliver that hammer blow. White-Ra's force not exactly looking as impressive, is it? But don't count it out. It is a dangerous mix. He's got 4 Void Rays in it. He's got a 5th on the way. Air Weapons level 1 as well. Colossus coming up. No question about that. That is going to be messy. When this encounter finally occurs. Overseer up as well. If we have a look at the economy, Machine continues to stream ahead. He has been allowed to do so, and he's taken full advantage of that. He's on 3 expansions, 4 coming up. 5 bases in total. Whereas his opponent, 2 expansions, takes a gold, looks to take another one right here, but he can't because that burrowed Zergling. Another Void Ray. This is going to be a clash of the Titans, folks, when it finally happens. Infestation Pit coming up. Another Stargate to back it up. Deja vu, the feeling of seeing something before. Is Machine going to be able to repeat that performance, though? He's going to be able to take him out, as opposed to losing pretty much everything he had the last time. White-Ra looking cool and calm, confident. Backs up, gets a little bit of extra firepower on the photon cannons, and here we go once again! Charging his way through and focusing as much as he can on the Colossus. In comes the Void Ray firepower, taken out by the Corruptors, though. Only 2 Void Rays remain. Third one at the background. 1 down there, and the Colossus slices his way through, though. It's devastating, but he doesn't have the ground firepower, really, to deal with those Corruptors. There's just so many of them. Big losses on both sides, but Machine lost more again. White-Ra does more with less. Let's be honest, that's exactly what he does. That is such a potent mix, it really is. I have a feeling that Machine doesn't even know which units to go for. He took out a lot of Void Rays, though, which actually was a good idea, considering the amount of damage they were able to do last game. Didn't so much focus on the Colossus. Ra needs to work on his anti-air firepower, though, if he wants to deal with those, and we've finally got a Mutalisk on the way. Flyer attack level 2 coming up as well. Double Void Ray coming up for White-Ra. And Zerg Missile attack upgrade level 2, and the Hive for Machine 2. He is not letting up on this. He is going all out. He's looking very strong right now. Machine pushes forward with a potent force. 36 Roaches in that. So many Roaches! Warp in responses, Stalkers, and here we go once again. Will those Corruptors be able to bring those Void Rays down? That's what it's looking like. Roach is taking a hefty amount of damage from the Stalkers, but I'm not convinced about the numbers right here. Roach is being torn apart by the Stalkers. He warps in additional reinforcements below that, takes the Void Rays out. That air firepower is now gone. The Corruptors not yielding a great result against the Void Rays, but devastating the Colossus, and down that force goes. But all of the ground firepower of his opponent taken out as well. They did a great job. A lot of firepower available there, and boy, did it work. But again, huge losses. This time, though, Ra is now starting to fall behind. He lost a lot of expensive tech right there, and he's not going to be able to replace it as easily as his opponent. EGMachine continues to roll it out. Hive is almost complete. Zerg Flyer attack level 2 coming out. Not actually bothering with the Mutalisks right now. They're still sticking with Roach Hydralisks, but he's got some Zerglings to back him up, though. Got a little bit of a meat shield going in there. Delicious, crackly meat shield. Tastes good with ketchup. You wouldn't be surprised. There you go. Not going to run that gauntlet. I wouldn't want to either. That's a lot of photon cannons. Going to take the initial damage on that as he's able to slice through the Zerglings with the long-range weapons of the Colossus. But here come those Corruptors once again. A huge problem for White-Ra. White-Ra now getting his forces crushed. Colossus ain't going to hold up against that. No question about that. And Machine is on the warpath. He wants blood. He gives it up. There you go.